Welcome to a Knack Squad video. In this video, we're going to cover a couple new features that have been unlocked for the Zeuses on our public Zeus server. The first of the two new features I'm going to show is how to save and reload missions created within Zeus. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and start Zeus mode. Then, out here in the salt flats, I'm going to spawn a small base, and I'm going to do that by going into the compositions that are already in Achilles. I'm going to go ahead and pick HQ large, and then put that down. Then I can do an outpost large, just as an example. Once that's done, I'm going to go ahead and put some AI in the buildings, and I'm going to do the two different methods that I would use when building a mission. The first is garrison building from ZEI, and I'm going to just pick the blue 4 units at this point to make it easy so they don't shoot me. And I'll go ahead and do that again with this building. The next way I might put in or spawn AI is to use the Achilles garrison instant function. To do that, I'll put these units here, then go to garrison building instant. I want them 50 meters from that point, inside only no, fill evenly no, and those units are now garrisoned. I'm going to also put a few vehicles in. And we'll go ahead and, that one is an empty vehicle. We'll spawn one more empty vehicle here. Then we'll spawn a couple vehicles with AI inside. And one more. And we'll put a helicopter in just as an example. Next, I'm going to go ahead and put a couple markers down. These are all things that the restore or reload function can do. Once our base is built, and nobody came to play my mission, so I'm going to save it so that I can reload it at a later date. To do so, we're going to go to Modules, Development Tools, Copy Mission SQF. We're going to put our marker pretty much in the center of our composition. The first option is the range, and I could save the entire map, but that would get any existing compositions, the FOBs that are already on here, so I don't want that. I'm going to set it to 500 meters. That center is easily within 500 meters, so it will capture everything. Now, it can save the AI. It also can save empty vehicles. It will also save vehicles with AI in them. Include objects, that's the buildings and everything else, and then markers, yes. Once I click on OK, it's now going to generate this code that I can use to reload this mission later. We're going to go ahead and Control A to select it all, Control C to copy it. Then we're going to switch over to Notepad and paste it into Notepad. Now these are all the objects, AI, and markers that were on that map. Now the biggest negative with this, and there are a few, but the biggest negative is markers are saved no matter where they are on the map. So even though I said only 500 meters from that point, it is going to save all markers, including all these, any of these, so it's going to duplicate those. If you want to take the time to edit your file to remove the duplicates, you're welcome to do so. There will be some issues if you don't, but you can see, for example, here's the marker for all players must join our TeamSpeak server. If I were to load this now, it's going to duplicate that. The only problem is some of our markers, for example, this one, this is actually a dot marker, but we just make the dot so small that it doesn't show. When you reload that, the dot is going to appear, the mill box in this case, actually a square, it's going to appear, and so this writing is going to become very difficult to read. It's going to duplicate it with the square, it's not going to hide the square, and therefore it's going to duplicate it staggered slightly. So with markers, you need to be a little bit careful with the markers. If you only have a couple markers on the map, it's probably best to not save the markers and just recreate them. So we're going to go ahead and do that and recreate that save without the markers this time. So again, we're going to go copy mission SQF, put it in about the middle, and include markers, no. So now we're going to generate the code. We'll select it, Control A, Control C to copy, switch to Notepad. I'm going to select everything that's in Notepad and overwrite it with Control V. Now I don't have any of those markers and it won't duplicate them. Now we're going to go ahead, we've got this still on our clipboard, but we'll go ahead and Control A and Control C like we were going to reload it. I'm now going to delete everything that's on the map here, and I'm going to go through the process of reloading that mission. To do that, you're going to go to Modules, and then Execute Code Module. Now this does not matter where you place it. The positions of all the objects are in the code. Even if I clicked way over here, and I pasted in my code, then I'm going to run it local, say OK. It's going to go ahead and create the mission right here in front of me where I was before. Now, here's a couple of the small problems. Let's go ahead and load all these objects into Zeus so I can see them. You notice my AI are wandering all over the place. This is one of the drawbacks of using the reload functionality for AI. Any of the positioning of the AI, so when I do garrison, what the system is really doing is placing them in a location and turning off their pathfinding. The pathfinding setting does not get restored, so you will have to re-garrison all of your units. To do that, you can just go back to garrison instant. And now those are garrisoned. These ones, they were all garrisoned using ZEI, not the garrison instant, but garrison instant can re-garrison those units. And again, the same for the rest. So everybody's garrisoned. They may not be in the exact same places they were before. There were 2 in this building before, there's only 1 now. But you will notice the vehicles that had AI in them, those are all fine. So the helicopter, the marshal, and I think we had, whoops, this one he did get out. And I think I re-garrisoned him. Yeah, it was this guy. So if you need to, you can just redrag them into the vehicles. Most of the time the vehicles will be okay. Now, you will find small issues when restoring a mission sometimes. Sometimes the placement of a box, for example, is not perfect, and if it's near a wall, it may bump into the wall and knock your wall over. It's going to be about 95% accurate, good enough to make it easy for you to reload your mission again in the future. That's the first feature. And next we'll go on to the second feature, which is loading a mission that has been created within the Eden editor and then imported into Zeus.